Hey guys, in the last tutorial we looked at search grounding in Gemini, and in this tutorial we'll be looking at URL context, which is another form of grounding that ensures that Gemini produces accurate and relevant information in its output to your prompt. Let's get straight into the video. Hey engineers, if you're new here, my name is Timmy and I make videos relating to everything about engineering, from software development to AI to automation and everything in between. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like it, share it with a friend and subscribe. Now let's get back into the video. So guys, don't forget everything that we've covered so far can be found in the link in the description. Please grab it, play around with it, break it, show me what you've built with it. If you're building something, leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And as usual, don't forget you need access to a Gemini API key that can be provisioned directly in the notebook, and don't forget to grant the notebook access. For most of the tutorials we've been covering, we needed drive access to be able to access those files, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we don't need to grant drive access because there's nothing we'll be working with that is in the drive. Our outline. We'll be going through the setup, we'll be talking about the limitations, we'll be looking at what, why, and how to perform URL context. We'll have a quick recap and we'll have some conclusions. What are the limitations of URL context? Per request, you have about 20 URLs that you can upload. There is a 34 megabyte context retrieval limit for every request that you send. So what this means is that if you send about 20 URLs and the total size of the response, including the prompt, exceeds 34 megabytes, it is going to fail. Also, all context retrieved all counts towards the input token. What this means is that if you provide 5 URLs and it returns responses to you, all the content of the URLs is counted as part of the input token to Gemini. You can provide all links that are accessible except paywall content, YouTube videos. Use video understanding for this. We've covered video understanding and I'll leave the link somewhere here or here. You cannot provide workspace files like Google Docs, Google Sheets. You can also provide video and audio files. Again, we've covered videos about video understanding and audio understanding that allows you to send data to Gemini to get responses and to extract information. And lastly, you can also provide content that is not safe for work because internally and explicitly, Google Gemini uses some safety mechanisms that you can enable. For setup, this is very similar to what we've been doing so far. We import a couple of libraries that we'll be using, like the Google Gen AI client library, and then we initialize and retrieve a Gemini API key. We initialize a Google client and we pass it the Gemini API key. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll be using the Gemini 2.5 Flash model. Now, what is URL context grounding? URL context is a feature that allows you to ground the model's response in results obtained from URLs provided. It is very similar to search grounding, with the difference being that instead of the model deciding on what to search to get results, you provide it a list of URLs that contains information that you would like to extract. And once the model does this, what happens is that it then enriches its response back to you, and then it could provide accurate and up-to-date information. Why do we need to do this? One, we do this because we want to ensure that the model's response is based on accurate and factual information. Two, to automate data retrieval and cleanup. And three, through the URL context, you can have Gemini compare documents and examine several reports, as you will see in this tutorial, articles or PDF to spot variations and monitor evolving trends. Guys, I promise you, if you can get this and you stick with me, I'm going to be showing you how to build really powerful applications using all these features that Gemini provides to us. I'm talking about projects that can automate the searching and retrieval of information. I'm talking about data scraping tools that we're going to build. So please stick around, and if there's anything you would like to see me build with these features, leave it in the comment. But let me show you how Gemini actually does the URL context. How does URL context actually works? Well, when you provide a list of links, what happens is that Google at the moment, or in general, they maintain an internal index cache of content. What this means is that, for example, at a high level, for every URL, there is an index of all the content that is related to that URL. And when you then use the URL context tool, what happens is that the tool first checks if the data is in the cache and then it returns it, which helps to minimize the cost on you because then no search is done, and then it could also ensure that you get fast and accurate data. But in the case where the content isn't found, a request is made and this is saved to the cache and is returned to the model, which the model then uses to enrich its response. But enough talking, guys. Let's get into the code. So to use URL context, all you need to do is specify the URL context tool in a tools array. You provide the list of URLs, and for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm providing these URLs that contains a token or a coin on CoinGecko that I noticed was currently at an all-time high or was increasing, and I want Gemini to find out why it is doing so. And in addition to this, there's another meme coin called the KET or KET, and it's classified as a meme coin, but also notice it is currently trading at a very high rate. In the last 24 hours, for example, it has gone up by 21.8%, and for Humanity coin, in the last 24 hours, it has gone about 63%. And we want Gemini to basically go through this information and find out why. All we need to do is provide in our content or the prompt what are the differences between these two coins at URL 1 and URL 2, and don't forget to specify and input the tools in the config. And then what happens is that we get a list of responses or content parts in the candidate response, and when we iterate over it and then we print it. And if we run this, we see that Gemini basically goes to those links and retrieves information about the two coins, and then it provides a response to us telling us that, and it tells us that Humanity is a coin with the purpose of this, and the price and market cap as of October today, Humanity's price is 0.1879. This is quite not accurate because it has dropped down a few points, whilst when I was running this, that was the accurate information. And it also tells us information about KET and just some key differences about the coins. How do we actually know that Gemini actually went to these URLs to retrieve the information and it wasn't just using training data? One way that you can verify this is in the response that it returned by manually verifying if it actually did this, or you could also use the URL context metadata information that is returned, and what happens is that on that metadata you have a list of each of the URLs with some information like URL retrieval status, and it tells you that URL retrieved or URL retrieval status success, and that just maps to a string, and that tells you that it actually successfully retrieved the response, and then you can display the response. Similar to search grounding, you could also retrieve citations about the response, and the way to do this is that you have a URL context meta like I showed you, and you have the retrieval URL and just some general information like the query it went about to make. For example, you see a Humanity price hit live price. This is just the title of the page for Humanity, and also KET live price chart market cap, and this is more like Unicode news and today CoinGecko, and this is exactly what is in the title of the KET coin price. I don't know why this is not loading now, but as you could see with Humanity, that was what was there. And yeah, this is just some information that you can use to continue to build citations and information for your users. A recap. In this video, we took a look at URL context, which is another type of grounding that allows you to provide accurate information to your users through Gemini. And we saw how to do grounding using the model's response using URL context. We spoke about the limitations of URL context and things that you need to know. And these are building blocks you continue to come back to again and again as you continue to build powerful applications. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you would like to thank me if this helped you, please share it with a friend, like the video, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. And in the next video, I will show you how to combine Google search and URL context to build very powerful applications. See you next time.